Welcome back, everyone, to Empire Secrets. I'm your host, Mariana Henninger. We are going to talk about SEO today. Very, very ninja strategies and tips from Lena Christine, founder of Lazy Girl Collective. I mean, what a genius name. And I'm also going to explore with her why she chose that name, why SEO for that, or how SEO and Lazy Girl go together. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about surfacing also in LLMs. So inside of ChatGPT. And she was actually telling me some things I've not heard before right before we hit record. So I'm so excited for her to share that with you guys. And Lena and I met at the Rich Girl Cult not too long ago in New York. She spoke there about SEO and not only loved her vibe on stage, but thought she had dropped some real nuggets. She's also on her way to speak at a different event. So this girl's crushing it. She also has another business. So this is Lazy Girl Collective is one business. I didn't even know she still ran her photography business. I was reading up about her and she's like, "Yeah, I've got 5 employees and we're crushing it over here too." So, Lena, welcome to the show and let's dive right in to your expertise on SEO. Why did you choose to focus on SEO?
Thank you. What an awesome introduction. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I want to talk about Lazy Girl for a second because I just think that we all need to have a little bit more play in our life. And the best way to do that is by being found organically online on repeat. I mean, I'm talking about evergreen, which actually brings me to the subject of my other business, as you mentioned. My first business, full-time wedding photography business, is what brought me to being an SEO expert. I was so tired of trying to show up online, and I took a 3-week break from Instagram, and when I came back, I couldn't get my engagement back. I went from getting like 40, 50,000 views on a reel to literally less than 1,000 within those 3-week period that I took off. So I was this close to shutting down my wedding photography business, and I came across this course that I took for SEO for photographers. So I ran with it. I started blogging imperfectly. I actually sucked at blogging when I first started. That's why I always
Here
say
with
just
Lena.
start.
Yeah.
2021, the end of
Oh, not too long
2021.
ago. Yeah.
Mhm. So within that first year, my blog started growing. So my blog focused on helping brides specifically elope in my town of St. Augustine, Florida, which is a small town in northeastern Florida.
Very
It's
niche.
very niche. It's very unique and it's known for its elopements. But I believe that I coined the elopements because elopements became popular in 2020, past pandemic. And in 2021, I hopped on the trend and I created tons of resources on my website, tons of copy on my website that spoke directly to the heart of my brides. And it gave them everything from where to elope, when to do it, what to do once you're there, down to where to rent your dress, like all these hacks and tips. And I honestly didn't think that it would work out for me the way that it did. I just served my clients so well. As soon as their eyes they find the website, obviously, Google or ChatGPT will serve up the website. They find you, and then most importantly, they book with you because they love you already so much. Like a lot of my inquiries start with, "We're so happy we found your website. Thank you so much for your blogs." My blog blew up so much that I couldn't take on every single inquiry that I got. And instead of saying no, I hired and trained a team of 5 more associate photographers.
All right. I actually want to understand how you divide your time right now. We're obviously gonna kind of probably stay in the more SEO space, in the Lazy Girl Collective business versus the your wedding photography business. But I'm super curious how you divide your time. Like, do you still go on shoots? Are you still the one interfacing with clients? What does that look like?
Great question. Yes, I still the one that interface with clients. My business is still very personal. Like on my website, I don't have our or the team written
Oh,
anywhere.
wow.
That's actually a secret kind of for me. It's still very personal, but then when they inquire, I tell them, "Hey, I'm not available. Or you also have a choice of, if you'd like to save a little money, you also have a choice of hiring one of my team lead elopement photographers. That's what I
Oh,
call them.
interesting. Okay. That is definitely a question. I'm glad you answered it this way. I'm glad I asked that question too, because that's actually a question that I get asked a lot, specifically by agency owners when or service providers when they're learning about a brand trust video and they're like, this sounds great, Mariana, but I don't want people to think that they're only going to work with me when they come into my business and when they hire us. And I've always kind of told them, like, listen, they need to connect with a person who's setting the tone for the business in terms of culture, in terms of vision and mission. But throughout your copy, you reference your team and your About Us page. You have your brand trust video there, but you also have your other team bios and things like that. I've not heard somebody that's doing what you're doing, which is like you don't reference your team at all, but when they come in, you position it not as like a, oh, bummer, it's not going to be Lena. It's like, hey, you have a chance to work with a team of mine
Mhm.
who I've trained. I'm sure you kind of talk them up as well at a
Yes.
discount, right? Like I'm
Yes.
not available, but they are, and you're getting a deal.
Yes. When and if SEO works and you become the authority, the
Mm.
expert in your niche, in your area, especially,
Yeah.
people don't have any questions when it comes to that. It's like a given. Oh, anyone that this person recommends from their team who is trained by them is obviously just as much of an expert.
Right. Oh, that's so good. Okay,
The
yeah. So
trust.
the trust and the authority by proxy, right? Through your
Yes.
recommendation, they kind of borrow your trust and authority that you've positioned yourself.
Yes, and my team is full time. They shoot more elopements than I do now
Oh
per
my
month.
gosh. Cool.
That's how I'm able to divide my time.
Wild. Okay. And then you obviously have Lazy Girl Collective. So you were doing Done For You for some time. Now you're focused on your program and consulting. Let us, I mean, before we get into the kind of structure of your business, let's talk about those ninja, like top level, not talked about strategies in SEO. What, and you're going to speak on stage very soon about this. So give
Yeah.
us the gold, give us the juice, Lena.
Yes, let's go. Gold only. I would say the first and foremost thing that matters so much is your copy. Your website copy, not only should it have those Google friendly wordies on there, which are called keywords, but it also needs to be from the heart. It needs to differentiate yourself, and there needs to be a lot of it. The biggest complaint I have with websites is that I go to even their homepage, right? And it's very little copy, maybe 200 words, all sounds the same. Hard to say what you're even offering or what makes you different. It
Mm,
doesn't speak to the client. It's not hero copy, is what I call it, when you make the client and position them as the hero of the story. And then you offer what your services are. Your homepage should be between 2,000 to 3,000 words of copy. Number one. That's a lot of copy.
really?
Mhm.
That's so interesting. Pause for a second. Currently, which I'm hoping it may or may not be different by the time this episode goes out. My homepage has so much copy in it, and I know that that is like something I need to change about it. And now you're making me rethink that. I also think it's got a ton of text. I think maybe I need to like break it up a little bit more. So is that what we should be thinking about? Like not right now, if you go on brandmagnetic.com, you're in for a long read, my friend. There's a lot of words on there, in part because 'cause I'm educating people and kind of taking them on this journey, but through text, which really I need to just create a video to explain what this
So,
is
yeah,
and how it
let
works.
me give you some pointers that you can
Yeah.
use for your own website, and I believe everyone listening can use as well. First of all, when you're moving down the page, whenever there's a title, so for example, my services, or this is a common mistake I see,
H1, right?
coaching,
Go ahead.
H1, even the heading 1. The heading 1 formula should be the name of your business very clearly, and then what you do and where, if the where matters. If not, what you
Right.
do is sufficient. However, a lot of times I see kitschy little quotes or, something cutesy as the H1, which is the most important thing that the search engine reads on your page immediately.
Yeah.
So
Are you
don't
telling me
waste
that
real
we're
estate.
repeating the name of our business as we go down?
We are repeating the name of our business in the heading one.
Okay.
So I would recommend for me, for example, Lena Christine, wedding photographer in St. Augustine, Florida. It's not cute or catchy, but it's
Mhm.
for search engines. And a lot of times, what I say is that if you have the possibility of making that maybe a smaller text and then creating an H2 right underneath it and making that your cutesy, kitschy,
Right.
kind
The
of
little
fun
tagline.
quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then the search engine does not care what it looks like. It's looking for that H1 tag. So it's going to read your smaller line of text that actually tells it what it is that you do and where. And then the human eye is obviously going to catch whatever is bigger on the page. And then moving on down the page, whenever there's a title, for example, services such as coaching, I see this a lot, and I know a lot of coaches are listening. Do not put coaching on your page, just coaching on your page. Like, what are you coaching? Soccer? No? Okay, then make sure it's really clear what you're coaching every time you use the word coaching or like, spiritual, just anything that sounds like services. What kind of services? Google is looking.
Mhm. When they're skimming, when they're scraping or, cataloging, what's the word? There's a different word.
It's scraping is probably
Scraping,
the right.
yes. When they're
Yeah.
scraping, they're looking for, "Okay, I need to know more specifically what you're doing."
If you look at the younger generation of my 14-year-old, for example, he does not type anything into Google anymore. He uses the voice search, he uses Siri, Alexa, whatever,
Mhm.
or ChatGPT, and it's always his voice. And people speak in direct or in complete sentences,
Right.
excuse me. So basically make it a sentence instead of just a.
Yes, yes, great, and it's funny because I have your website pulled up. You are doing this definitely, like, front and center, so we go on lazygirlcollective.com, we see Lazy Girl Collective, SEO agency, and organic marketing for creatives. It's like, it's exactly what you're offering right there front and center, and then obviously you explain it a as you go. You're repeating lazy girl philosophy. I'm seeing what you're saying, like, you're actually practicing it.
Thank
Like,
you
you
so much.
yeah, no, it makes so much sense. I mean, it's a great example to kind of check as we go. Um, Lena, what else should people be thinking? So, just to recap, we should be really, intent on what those H1 headlines are, whether they're the biggest, most forward facing, prominent text on our websites or not. We can change the font size and kind of work. Do they have to be at the top? I guess is a question.
Again, not necessarily, but we do look for semantics, and semantics is being H1, H2, H3, H4, so on.
Mhm.
So it is better for it to be at the top so that it doesn't break that chain of semantics by having a, say, H2 come before an H1.
Do we know how much that would affect? Like,
Not a lot, but I say in SEO, every little bit counts, and there's no room for being lazy, which is kind of funny because I called myself lazy girl, and I'm actually the least lazy person.
that's great. You know, what I actually want to tie it back once again to this idea of, like, okay, so you chose to focus on SEO. I'm just gonna sort of make the leap between your story and your business. So your blog probably took off, right? As you mentioned, it helped you blow up your photography business. You're like, I could teach this to other business owners, right? Uh,
Exactly.
and so I'm curious whether, for example, I haven't checked on this, but oh yeah, you do have a blog on your website. So is that something that you feed it a lot? So for example, I want to know truly if SEO is a one and done game. Like, I'm not being cutesy with my H1s. I'm being very descriptive. I'm being very specific. I'm sure I know there are a lot more things that you can do with SEO. We're kind of focusing in on a few of them, but does feeding this blog machine like you did for your wedding business, is that required?
I'm going to give you a couple of things that are like a must to do. Um, you're asking if feeding the blog is required. When I first started blogging for my photography business, I was blogging a lot, probably 2 to 4 times a month. I was coming out with a lot of blogs. Not all of them went viral, so to speak, but a few of them took off and
You
not
were
necessarily right away.
you were publishing 2 to
Was
4 times a month?
publishing, yes,
Wow.
for a long time at first. For about a year, I was doing really good. Now that they're already working though, I think the last blog I've written fully was at the beginning of this year, however many months ago that was. So now that it's working, I update the ones that are working, I tweak them, I make sure they're up to date because updating is just as important.
Mhm.
But I don't have to go so hard anymore because
Yeah.
once you are organically at the top of search results, you're pretty good to go. You you
You'll
did it.
stay up there as
You'll
long as
stay up
you
there
oh,
for
wow.
quite some time as long as the traffic keeps coming. Now, I do have several ways to bring traffic in, and that's what I wanna talk about.
Yes.
So one of the other things that people do a lot that is not helpful for SEO is throw all of your services on one page and call it a day. Let me use this example. If you are going to get hair extensions, you are looking for information on hair extensions, and it will be a lot more beneficial for you to land on a website that is about nothing but hair extensions. Even if that company also does haircuts and
Mhm.
hair color,
Right.
they should have a separate page for haircuts and then another one for hair color and a separate page for extensions if they know what they're looking for.
Right.
But the landing pages or AKA service pages are what brings in the traffic. So essentially
Having
someone is looking
specific
for
right.
and blog posts. Blog
Mhm.
posts are also landing pages of sort,
Right.
but they're
Yeah.
connected to the blog, so it's a little bit different the way that it works. But if you don't want to feed your blog machine, then you should most definitely focus on those service pages being the best that they can possibly be. The longer, the better. The more information, the better. Answer all the questions all of your past clients ask you that
Have an FAQ section on
have an
there.
FAQ section 100 million percent. And
That sounded like
also,
my son, by the way. He's like, "Where'd you lay the compound numbers for 100,079,000,000,022?"
I'm a nerd. I don't hide it. It's fine.
Love
I'm a
it.
big nerd. um, but yes, definitely have those FAQs. And on top of that, just answer everything. And this is so, so, so important. Every single person has something to offer for their clients that no one else has to offer, that no one else knows, something personal. So he was answering questions for his ideal client, who is someone who is interested in exploring the area, right? Or living somewhere that's nice, also likes biking and hiking, and is already going to love that real estate agent just because they have a hobby they connect on. So that's what his blog post, like a traffic driver, was for him. He's a real estate agent, but instead of maybe always writing about real estate, he was writing about biking. And that's another like you can think out of the box when it comes to SEO. My other client, we wrote a blog about the best coffee places to work at near her area because her clients are CEO and women bosses, and
Mm.
she is a branding photographer. So she was helping them find a spot to work at or have meetings at, 5 best coffee shops. Now I wrote the blog, of course. And then once they get there, they may not even know that they want or need branding photos, but they're
Right.
already on the page and they trust you as a
Okay.
person
Yeah.
and they see your photography because of course the blog post will have her work there. And
Yeah.
so now they have found this girl without even knowing that they want to work with her or
Right,
need
in a
to work
very
with her.
roundabout way. That's so
Mhm.
interesting. Would you say that works also for non-local businesses?
It works for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just thinking of like what are some adjacent topics you could be blogging about to drive traffic to your site. That's so cool. I love that idea.
Yeah, let me give you a non-local example if you'd
Yeah,
like.
go.
So it's a non-local business. She serves everyone everywhere,
Yeah.
but these are people struggling with their marriage or their
Yeah.
partner and they're looking for some relationship advice. Now, a lot of people actually search for the words Reddit. They will search,
Interesting.
yes, Reddit
Yeah.
is dominating Google search, especially, and
Mhm.
ChatGPT. Reddit dominates. So if you are not currently on Reddit and scouring and answering questions or even dropping your tips and advice,
Mhm.
then that is somewhere that you just have to be.
That's so cool, and it feels so doable too, right?
Yes,
I mean,
and I get tons of information from my blog posts on Reddit. I just steal like an artist.
yeah.
I use people's responses, for example, the best coffee shops. I
Mhm.
just scoured Reddit and I found what other people like about those coffee shops because I don't live in that area, and I wrote based on this information, and then I had the woman that I was working with fact check it for me 'cause she
Right.
lives there, so that
Yeah.
was
It's a
another
very
one.
important step, by the way. Good
Mhm.
good for you.
Yes.
Well done. I'm curious, so somebody who is not going to plan to feed a blog regularly, right? So they're
Mhm.
running their businesses like, I really want to improve my SEO." We haven't even talked about LLMs just yet. We're about to move to that, but I want to improve my ranking. I want people to find me more easily, so I don't have to keep running ads. So, I want that visibility that comes from that
Service
SEO.
pages, service pages,
Okay,
landing
service
pages.
pages, love
Mhm.
that. But I'm just curious, like how many are is there like a certain number of blog posts that we should aim for? Like if obviously it probably depends on whether they do well or not, right? But is even like okay, 5 articles, right? A blog, I'm gonna if I'm gonna add a blog to my website, I need at least 5 things in there. Is that
This
fair to
is
say or
such a good question. Quality over quantity, first of
Mhm.
all, every time. Would you rather let me ask you, would you rather read several books on the same topic, like little several books, or one, like, really good book
Oh yeah,
on that topic?
100%. Mhm.
And just get it all from one source. So that's another thing is don't keep writing about the same subject over and over because you not only is that not good for someone who is looking for all the answers and doesn't want to read 7 pieces of, you know,
Yeah.
7 blogs about the same topic,
Mhm.
but it's also kind of can be detrimental for SEO too. For example, this actually happened to me. I wrote an elopement blog back in the day when I was still try to figure out my footing in the blogging space, and it went so well. It brought so much traffic to me that I said, "Oh, I'm gonna write another one," and just
Right.
trying to tweak it a little bit and write a few different things in there.
SEO
But it
is
was
not social
still
media.
it was still the same intent. So you have
Yeah.
to think like, who is this talking to? Is it still talking to the bride who's trying to figure out the logistics of her wedding day? If it is in both pieces, then you need to get rid of one piece and marry all the information into that other
Mhm.
stronger piece and make
Yeah,
that piece really strong.
interesting.
So it's not really about the quantity as much as it is about the quality. But when you're first starting out, you're going to have to figure all this stuff out. So honestly, the more you do it, the easier it becomes to do it and the more you learn because if you're keeping track of the analytics and seeing what is working, I
Mhm.
strongly suggest Google Search Console as one of the ways to keep track, but there are so many different analytics tools out there for sure.
Yeah,
Just find one that works for you and track your analytics.
yeah.
But
That's
once you find that
Mhm.
piece that is working, just keep adding to it and make that stronger. And even if you have to marry them together, sometimes
Right.
that's
Versus, like,
necessary.
replicating it with a twist, which is
Exactly.
what we are told to do on social media, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
if you see a reel takes off, do the same reel with a different ending
Not
or
the
with a different
same.
hook or
Mhm.
something." Yes, so
Because
interesting.
Google, I say Google, but ChatGPT, the search engine will have a hard time figuring out which piece to give to them because
Mhm.
they're both good. And then a lot of times they'll just drop both.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
That's
When it can't make up
okay. Stop.
it's fine. Mhm.
Wow,
Don't do that.
that's
It's called
interesting.
cannibalization.
Yeah, you're making me want to go to chat after this conversation to just be like, okay, what would the 5 pieces of content that I would write be? Uh,
Yeah.
and just add that to my long list of things to do. But
Make sure to
those
tell it
really-
to think out of the box too, because
okay,
sometimes it can be real literal. So, for example, like I mentioned, you don't always have to write about exactly what you specialize in or your
mhm,
service or product every
right,
time. You
right,
can just reach your audience. Think about who your audience is and what does their everyday look like, and how does something that you do as a person, how can that be something that you can help them with and get that traffic
okay,
over to your site?
so interesting. Because I have always heard, like, for probably for 10 years, I mean, like, for a long time, I have heard to go on, is it called Ask the Public? I think is the name of the website.
Yeah, answer the public, but yeah.
Answer the Public. Okay. And for me, it's always been tricky because people are not searching for what I do, which is such an interesting part of my business where I have to educate them, right? I have to show them this new thing. It's like I'm selling the iPhone here and nobody knows what an iPhone is. So,
Good, I just solved that problem for you. Just blog about other things that they are searching for.
that's right. I mean, I feel like that tool has never worked for me because people are not searching for my thing. But
Exactly.
to what you just said, which is like if I focus on what my target audience is searching for, what
Yes.
is the adjacent thing that I can like latch onto and bring them into my world?
And you can go to Reddit and find out what people are asking about so quickly. So
Wait,
quickly.
you've promised gold, Lena, and you are delivering. So I'm so excited for the takeaways from our chat. Before we wrap, I do want to talk about obviously showing up on LLMs because we all know so many folks are kind of using Google less, using chat more, using
Yes.
Claude more to actually, to your point, oftentimes using voice to search. So they're searching full
Yes.
sentences versus like
Mhm.
when we're lazy and typing, we're just like, here's a word, here's a word.
Mhm.
Google, you're smart enough, go get it. But with
Mhm.
if we're using voice, we typically will say more. So what can we be doing? Slash, is everything that we do for SEO relevant for LLMs as well?
This is such a great question, and I've got some real, like, quality gold for you because by working with clients for the past year, like, directly working with people, I have really been able to see what works and what
Mm.
doesn't, and overall, in general, it is very similar. It's called, it's SEO or AIO or whatever you wanna spin it.
CEO over everything.
Yeah, it's still in essence the copy that goes onto your pages. It's still all about the copy and how well you're answering people's questions. So Answer the Public is a good tool. Definitely Reddit. Don't sleep on Reddit and Quora as tools. Really answer those questions on there.
Mhm.
And then also complete sentences, instead of just saying coaching, make sure you are defining what kind of coaching it is. But I think the biggest gold here, and this, for example, is working so well for one of my clients, you have to create a differentiator for yourself in the market, niche, service area that you're in. For example, this woman that I'm working with, she is a family photographer. There are so many family photographers out there, right? So how do we differentiate her? So someone has been finding her on ChatGPT and they actually let her know, which is super interesting of what she
Oh,
told
I
me,
love it.
for specifically kids with special needs photography
Interesting. Okay.
because we put that on her page.
Mhm.
So if it's not there, it's not going to get pulled up.
Yeah.
If you wanna be found for something so specific that it positions you as an expert or a niche of some sort, then you need to be putting that on your page. You need to make sure that it's on your service page somewhere in
Mhm.
detail, talk about it. So just for her being able to book someone who found her for her special needs child is
Right.
incredible because no one else is putting that out there. Just by having that out
Oh,
there,
that's
she
so specific.
came up.
I love that.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
niche and specific is really, really good. Think about what makes you different. I'm saying you, but I'm just talking to
Yeah.
whoever's listening. And go ham on that. And the more the better. And then the second thing, and this is kind of hand in hand, is honestly, everyone, please stop using ChatGPT for your copy. Start doing this. Instead, start sharing your personal tidbits. For example, if you want to help someone find a kid-friendly restaurant in your area and that's your mom's is your target audience, maybe you sell completely different services. Maybe you sell bars of soap for moms, but you want to help them find somewhere to take their kids to for a kid-friendly dinner, you can blog about that. You don't have to blog about soap. You know, how many blog posts about soap can we have out there? You know what I mean? So just start attracting your audience by giving them what they really are looking for online and then share your actual favorite spots and why. Don't just copy text from ChatGPT. Guess what ChatGPT isn't going to do is bring up other ChatGPT text. So it is
Yeah, that was so
going to
that
yeah,
I
it's
did
gonna
not
reach for
yeah.
human copy.
So chat is actively filtering out things that it knows it wrote, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sound exactly like ChatGPT, which is great. It's so encouraging to hear that. I love that, AI sounding content is not going to get as much ranking or as much attention in the LLMs as like human written content that does not sound like a bot.
So, yes, human copy is in, chat copy is out if you wanna be found, and then more think about it this way. Have you ever read something that is so boring, you just
Yeah.
want to shoot your own foot off? Rather than read this information.
Yeah.
So, can we please have less boring copy out there and more human, relatable
Amen.
copy?
Yes, Mender. You're speaking my love language right there, 100%. Listeners of this podcast know we typically all feel the same about AI copy. It is such a waste of time. It's actually disrespectful. If you're not going to put something good out there, do not waste my time.
Yes, because you're actually copying someone else's copy if you think about it,
Oh, no.
because it's
It's
giving
bad all
someone
around.
else's opinion.
Uh Lena, this was so amazing. I want to send people to your resource. You have an SEO freebie.
I have so many things right now that I am just planning to come out with in the next week. So by the time this episode airs, there's going to be so many good
Where
resources.
should we send people to?
One,
Yeah.
yes, one resource that I'm coming out with is going to be just a very fast acting SEO system strategy that I have been using for my clients that works really fast. You will see results
Fast is good.
quickly, and it's just right down to the core. So I'm gonna have that coming soon. Where you can find me and where you can find my resources is on Instagram because okay, let's face it, everyone is on Instagram, so we're still there.
Yeah.
But that's a good place to find me, and I'm always, my quirky self on stories and stuff, so please come and connect with me and let's be human together. And it's lenachristine.co, so that's Lena, Lena, Christine with a CH, .co.
Perfect. All right. We'll have that linked in the show notes as well. Lena, it was so fun chatting with you. Thank you for all the amazing SEO stuff, some that I definitely have not heard before. We are going to have also just like a bullet point if you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much goodness, but I was driving, Mariana. What the heck? We got you covered. Show notes will have bullet points with action points for you. And thank you again. It was so lovely having you.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and stay tuned to the next episode of Empire Secrets. I will see you on the next one. If you found this episode rewarding and insightful and funny and all of the above, share it with a friend who is a business bestie or just a business friend in general who would also take advantage of what we learned today. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you on the next episode of Empire Secrets. Bye for now.